Feels like a missed couple, but I mean, it's tennis, you know. Today you loser, tomorrow you winner, so hopefully I'll be more of a winner this season than a loser. So
for Sabalenka, I think she'll be wondering how that final set.
She won the match not because she played incredible, just because I made all of those mistakes from, like, if you look from the outside, kind of like from an easy.
We are seeing the same heartbreaking story play out in the realm of women's tennis once more. Aryna, despite her skill and strength on the court, she has lost another heartbreaking Grand Slam final. And once more, Sabalenka has turned to her tried and true formula of tears, justifications, and diversion rather than accepting defeat with grace and giving credit where credit is due. Elena Rybakina won the Australian Open this time. However, based on Sabalenka's post-match remarks, it seems more likely that she lost to herself than to a better opponent on that specific day. Let's begin with Sabalenka's genuine words following this devastating loss. In her own words, the result might have been different if she had simply been more assertive, carried out her strategy more skillfully, or done this or that differently. Take note of this trend. It all comes down to what Sabalenka failed to do, what she ought to have done, and what she could have altered. But where is the recognition that Elena Rybakina was a superb tennis player in all of this introspection? Where is the recognition that Rybakina had a strategy, executed it beautifully, and deserved to win? This is the main issue with Sabalenka's strategy for defeat. She's moping over things that have already happened, bemoaning her own errors, and focusing on the opportunities and points she lost. However, she refuses to show the woman who stood on the other side of the net and outplayed her when it counted most any true respect. Elena Rybakina didn't just show up and wait for Sabalenka to beat herself. With her strength, accuracy, mental toughness, and tactical understanding, Rybakina made it all happen. The match itself was an absolute thriller that demonstrated just why Elena Rybakina has become Aryna Sabalenka's worst nightmare. Rybakina came out hot in the first set, establishing authority early and never allowing Sabalenka to settle into any kind of rhythm. The Kazakhstani player's serve was booming. Her movement was deliberate and precise, and her ground strokes were reaching far into the corners. 6-4, she won that first set. By doing this, she made it quite evident that neither the situation nor the fame of her opponent intimidated her. To her credit, though, Sabalenka is a warrior. In the second set, she answered with the aggressive baseline tennis that has made her one of the tour's most feared players. She began stepping into the court, taking time away from Rybakina, and going for her shots with greater conviction. Sabalenka won the second set as the momentum changed, necessitating a decider and setting up what ought to have been a spectacular finish to this Grand Slam final. This match will be remembered in the third set, which also makes Sabalenka's post-match justifications even harder to accept. She sprinted to a dominating 3-game lead. At that point, she had all the momentum, all the confidence, and seemingly all the answers to Rybakina's game. That kind of pressure would have caused many players to give up, particularly in a Grand Slam final. Not Elena Rybakina, though. The following event was a masterclass in championship-level tennis and mental toughness. Rybakina remained calm. She didn't much alter her strategy, at the exact moment when the match was on the line. She just began performing at an even greater level, increasing her intensity. Point by point, game after game, she worked her way back into that third set. She significantly changed the course of the match by breaking Sabalenka's serve and holding her own. There was no question about who had been the superior player on this particular day by the time Rybakina finished that last set 6-4. Nevertheless, Sabalenka managed to downplay Rybakina's accomplishment despite seeing this amazing comeback and being the victim of such focused and excellent tennis. She maintained in her post-match remarks that Sabalenka's own errors had given her opponent the victory rather than Rybakina being inherently superior to her. She talked about the balls she missed, the opportunities she didn't capitalize on, the ambitious shoots she failed to execute. It was extremely rude to the player who had just outperformed her on the largest platform, but it was also highly introspective and performance-focused.
Feels like a missed couple, but I mean, it's tennis, you know. Today you loser, tomorrow you winner, so hopefully I'll be more of a winner this season than a loser. So
thus, Rybakina has previously gained access to Sabalenka's mind and came out on top. Even more perplexing is Sabalenka's inability to give Rybakina due credit given their shared past. In the WTA finals just last year, Rybakina triumphed over Sabalenka in yet another pivotal encounter on a major platform. On that occasion, Sabalenka was so confident of victory, so convinced of her own superiority, that she reportedly even disrespected her own coach during the match. It was obvious that they were overconfident and conceited, and Sabalenka should have learned from Rybakina's victory in that match, which disproved her. She ought to have learned humility and respect for her opponents from it. But clearly that message never sank in. Here we are once more following Rybakina's triumph over Sabalenka in yet another crucial final, and the response is precisely the same. Tears flow, excuses mount, and the opponent's credit is notably lacking. The fact that this tendency is not exclusive to Sabalenka's feud with Rybakina makes it even more troubling. She often trivializes her opponents and refuses to accept their prowess in subsequent matches and with other players. Remember last year's French Open final when Coco Gauff captured her first Grand Slam championship with a victory over Sabalenka. It was a huge moment for the young American, a career-defining win that signaled her arrival as a major champion. And how did Sabalenka react? The exact same script. Sabalenka maintained that Coco wasn't inherently superior to her, and that Sabalenka's own errors, not Gauff's brilliance, had decided the result. She downplayed the accomplishment, diverted focus from her opponent's performance, and focused on her mistakes rather than Gauff's successes. It was disrespectful before, and it's disrespectful now. This strategy has a basic lack of sportsmanship that is getting harder to overlook. Tennis is a sport based on respect for one another, admitting the skill and effort of your opponent, and realizing that occasionally someone just plays better than you on a particular day. The best tennis champions in history have always recognized this. They have been humble enough to acknowledge when they have been outplayed, courteous in loss, and generous with their appreciation for rivals. It appears that Sabalenka lacks this level of grace. The reaction is the same whether it's Rybakina, Gauff, or any other person that defeats her in a significant match. She looks inside, finds fault with her own performance, and implies that the opponent's victory was more about Sabalenka's mistakes than about their successes. This shows a concerning mindset that might be preventing Sabalenka from realizing her full potential, in addition to being disrespectful to the athletes who put in just as much effort, train just as hard, and should be acknowledged for their accomplishments. In actuality, Elena Rybakina has now vanquished Aryna twice. Major finals for Sabalenka. It's not a coincidence. That goes beyond Sabalenka's errors. That's about Rybakina possessing something unique, the skill and mindset to step up to the plate against one of the world's greatest players. Rybakina's serve is one of the most powerful and effective in women's tennis. She uses deep, heavy ground strokes. Her movement has improved considerably, and perhaps most crucially, she has ice in her veins when the pressure is at its highest. Until Sabalenka can acknowledge these truths, until she can give her opponents the credit they deserve, she may continue to fall short in these crucial moments. In tennis, mental toughness is more than just self-confidence. Rather than just assuming your own game would be sufficient, it's also important to respect your opponent, comprehend what they offer to the court, and build ways to overcome their strengths. It's getting tiresome to cry and make excuses after this Australian Open final. The tennis community is sick of hearing the same narrative following each significant loss. Elena Rybakina is deserving of better. Coco Gauff was deserving of better. In all honesty, Aryna Sabalenka is deserving of better. Until she learns to accept defeat with grace, give her opponents due credit, and genuinely consider what her competitors are doing well rather than just what she is doing poorly. These agonizing losses in Grand Slam finals might keep mounting.